All right. So I think everybody here knows me, but I'm Tracy Kennick. I'm the Director of Communications and the Public Relations Officer for the City of Beaumont. And we just wanted all of y'all to be in the same room today. If you have any questions, I know this is a big deal for the City of Beaumont. We haven't had one of these, as we mentioned earlier, in 43 years, so before any of you reporters were born. So you probably have a lot of questions. And it's important, the most important job we have now is to get the correct information to the citizens so that they can make an informed decision. We want them to have the knowledge to decide before they go to the polls. And there's a lot to digest. You were in there and there's a lot of information. So we really want to make sure that you get the correct information on all of these propositions. If you have any questions, how we got here, what's going to be exactly on the ballot, how much it's going to cost the average taxpayer. Any of those questions, we want to flesh them out here. So I'll let the city manager say a statement or two, the mayor and Jeff Barton with GAP Strategies, and then we'll just open it up to you. We have the council here if you want to address any of them individually. If you have questions about individual projects that are on the bond, the directors are here representing those as well.
Good evening. Good evening. Everybody asleep. It's a great time to be in Beaumont. For the press and the ones who don't know me, I'm Kenneth Williams, City Manager here. I'd just first like to acknowledge the great work that was done and been done today in the last couple of days by the City Council. They've stepped up and taken a tremendous responsibility for the City of Beaumont. They've taken a responsibility that hasn't been done in 43 years. So I commend them tremendously for risk taking. It's a tremendous risk in what they're doing, so I commend them. Likewise, I commend our staff for the work that they've done, and they've done it on these projects, putting together the information, compiling the information. I'd like to acknowledge the bond committee for their tireless work for months of work. They've done a fantastic job. We're really excited about the work that they've done. But then to our citizens, because our citizens participated in this process. They participated in surveys. They came to open houses and workshops, et cetera. So their input helped shape this whole entire process for sure. As far as going from here, you know, as city manager, I commit to the transparency of this process. I commit to the accountability of this process with staff and what we're going to do and what we're going to go forward and as a part of it here. We're proud of what's been put together. We're proud of these projects that have been put together. You see the people around the walls. The ones that still here, they got something out of this deal, so they're excited. So yeah, we're excited. It's a great time to be in Beaumont, and we just look forward to carrying out this project.
Well, good evening. I'm Roy West, the mayor of Beaumont, and it is a great privilege to see the work of council and the bond advisory committee. Again, something, this has been a long process, lots of discussion, and when you begin these discussions, it certainly points to why it hadn't happened in 43 years. You've got to learn to make compromises to get from point A to point B, and this has been that process because, but I am super excited at the potential for the voters because this puts it in their hands to be able to make decisions about infrastructure, quality of life matters, and I believe that I've heard for the last 2+ years as mayor that are important to the people. And this hasn't been something that's done on the spur of the moment. All these items have been on the books and discussed for quite some time, and the only way to execute them was by having a bond election. So with that, this council decided that we were ready to do that, and we have worked through that process. And I am grateful for all the bond committee members certainly all the city staff, because again, we still expect everything else to happen in the midst of working on bond and everything else, and everybody has to contribute. So it's been a lot of extra work by our directors and certainly our city administration. And I applaud all of them on that work and to be able to get us to this point. And with that, I'd like to invite Mr. Barton up with GAP Strategies, who helped navigate through this process.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, Jeff Barton with GAP Strategies. We were the firm that the city hired to help walk through this bond process. And it was a long process. For those of you who don't know, it started months ago with a citizen committee that put in many, many hours to develop these projects, looking at numbers, looking at plans that the city had developed over years, and prioritizing the neediest of the needy to move forward on this bond package from their perspective. The whole process, as the mayor alluded to, was driven by public involvement from the beginning. The council appointed 17 citizens to oversee this process. The citizens, with our help, and the city's help, put out a community survey that started the process to hear where people were, to hear what were their most critical issues, and then developed a draft plan. That draft plan then went back out to the community for more input and an open house. And based on that, the committee made some final revisions. They sent a report to the council, recognizing that the council would fine-tune it. The council did that over the last couple of days, and I think along the way honored the core precepts that the citizen committee had developed. So from GAP Strategies' perspective, it's a real pleasure to be involved in this process when it is so community-driven. We are proud to be a part of it, and it seems a historic opportunity for the citizens of Beaumont to now decide for themselves how to pass judgment on these projects that are put before them.
All right, we'll open it up. If you have any questions for any of the directors or executive staff. Go ahead, Tessa.
So you have two multi-purpose centers on here. What are the difference between the two centers? What's going to be by what's going to be in them, and why are the prices so different between the 49 million and the 10 million?
You want to do the
So the 40,000 or 40 million one is a multi-purpose center. It's also a sports complex. It originally was designed or put in to be I think Ms. Loki designed it as a economic development project. It was requested to be moved into the Proposition B because it had additional classrooms and other things that could be used for other purposes, which is why the name was changed to Multi-Purpose Center. The Multi-Purpose Center in Alice Keith is specifically designated for that area, and it's going to be mimicked more towards the Sterling Pruitt Center, not as a larger facility, so it doesn't cost as much.
And what kind of things will be in those two facilities to differentiate?
So for the multipurpose center, I'm just slower. Yeah, thanks. Thank you. So for the multipurpose center, what's so exciting is that while it does have a little bit larger of a price tag, it is going to include 8 basketball courts that convert into 16 volleyball courts and 27 pickleball courts. And you've got to think of not just sporting events, but on top of it all, trade shows, multi-purpose center that's being able to be utilized for classroom setting, as well as potentially esports. And I think what's really exciting is that there's baton twirling, there's cheerleading, there's gymnastics. I mean, the list goes on and on. So it's really exciting for the city to not only be able to have a facility that'll be multi-purposefully used, but more importantly for our stakeholders, for us to be able to partner with our education systems like the Lamar University or LIT, including BISD, and so many opportunities for the city to make those partnerships and build on to those relationships to give something back to the youth in Beaumont.
I know originally in the first bond proposal from the bond committee, they had majority of the money going towards infrastructure, and also said that infrastructure is a big part of what you guys wanted to focus on in this bond. The majority of the money is going towards facilities and public safety. Can you maybe just break down on just kind of why the money, most of the money is going towards facility, public safety instead of infrastructure now?
Well, as you were at the meeting, there was much discussion, and these are all projects that have been discussed for a long period of time and have had a lot of community input. And so it becomes challenging getting to a number that the council was comfortable with in order to be presenting to our residents. We wanted to be respectful of theinformation that they had been sharing with us in terms of property tax increase for the items. So I think there's not a short answer for that. It was what was prioritized. And infrastructure is certainly a huge part of it. If there's somebody, yes.
Yeah. If I can add, infrastructure is just not in the bond package. We have our community improvement program where we have millions of dollars already allocated for infrastructure, for sewer projects, water projects, road projects, et cetera. Also, what changed that number, flipped it a big part too, was the inclusion of the police station. You know, that was $55 million that wasn't originally in there, so that went into facilities. So that made that gap go larger because of that large project.
I'll just add, although that's a little different than what the Citizen Committee presented, you heard, I'm not sure if you were here yesterday, but Chairman Lewis, who was the chairman of the Citizen Committee, was here to say that he thought that was still in keeping with the general direction the Citizen Committee wanted to move. Originally, the price tag for the police station was larger. The Citizen Committee had a lot of interest in furthering the police headquarters and the ability of the police department to provide top quality work here, but we're concerned about the price. And I think you saw staff go back and sharpen pencils and come up with some innovative ideas to save money there. So I think the chairman, again, and most of the members that I've talked to felt very comfortable with that. And I think you probably saw, but also there's a separate proposition in addition for infrastructure, the North Point that, so sounds like you're aware of that.
They were taken out, the structure.
Ebony.
Mr. Barton, you said that some cities have bonds every 3 to 5 years, with us having it after 43 years. Do y'all feel like whoever wants to answer Beaumont is behind or playing catch up? The residents go to vote on this.
Well, I think everybody could weigh in on this, but clearly, compared to other cities that are a little bit more progressive, I would say, bond issues are pretty commonplace. And this is something that I think is important for the council to offer the residents of Beaumont because, again, this is allowing them to participate in the process. And they have been, but this will allow them to participate in a vote in November on these items. And there are going to be 5 different, buckets, propositions that they'll be able to vote on. So it's not all or nothing. There are, somebody could like one proposition as opposed to another. And, but clearly council felt good about all of the propositions, and as a result, we passed this. Anybody else want to chime in?
What will the public safety and technology improvements include?
Well, as Chief comes forward, I'd just like to say, the facilities assessment will identify most of those things. That's why it's so important to do a facilities assessment. And it'll tell you the things that you'll need to include the technology and the things there, not just what the police station currently has, but also as we grow into the future, identify staffing, equipment, et cetera, needs. And Chief can speak.
Unfortunately, and I'm Tim Oknishek, the police chief, and I was trying to look at the fine print from the back of the room, and I didn't get to see what all I thought this one project may have been cut. So you're talking about the $1 million project that, that we have actually discussed trying to build out, as y'all are very familiar with, the Real-Time Crime Center, basically to expand the technology based approach that we've been able to do to try to reduce crime. And so this would further that project across the city.
On the police station, just kind of, this is for council, for you, just kind of what was the main reason behind getting the police station on this ballot for this month?
I'll go first. Well, one, because it was needed, it's needed. You know, they're suffering from lack of space, which makes it totally inefficient in what we're doing. But we want the citizens of Beaumont to know that we're serious about law enforcement, and we're serious about the perception of crime here. When I came here as city manager, my top two things I identified the city needed to work with was one, sewer system, and two was public safety. And that's been one of my goals, and I work with the chief and his department to enhance that goal, just like we just enhanced some things with the fire department. So we're working toward those goals that I identified in the strategic plan, public safety, so we just want to make sure that happens.
Just hearing the public comments from the residents today, most of them from the south end, and really pushing for something for the youth and the kids to do. Was that a big part of you guys making sure that Alice Keith Rec Center kind of stayed on this ballot?
Yes.
And make sure you say the right name. Say the right name.
So, yeah, that was, and I love seeing the community come up and participate and let us know what they wanted. They haven't had a rec center in the south side of Beaumont since the Melton Y closed, and if I'm not mistaken, that was in the 90s or in the 90s, I guess. And so it was needed, and something to deter kids from messing up. You know, pointing them in the right direction, reaching out and helping them, bringing up, getting a hold of them when they like in 5th, 6th grade and sticking with them all the way through they graduate high school and go to college or get a job or something. So just give them something to do, not only sports-wise, but just teaching different classes, different life lessons and things like that. So yeah, it was very important to do, and you saw from all the citizens that came up and spoke that it was very important to them as well.
Hello, Shadera Moore from KFC on Channel 6. My question's kind of going off of Evelyn's. So on Prop B, the multipurpose sports and community facility, is that, have y'all decided yet if that's going to be specifically downtown?
At this point, part of the facilities study will determine the location, but in Proposition B, it doesn't specify, which is different than the multipurpose center for Alice Keith Park. It is specified, but the larger one is not. So I think the athletic complex and downtown have both been discussed.
Mayor West, is that TBA for all the locations, the police station and the animal center?
I think there've been some looking, but yes, it is to be determined, the locations.
So, for the facilities improvements, will those just be to the police station and to City Hall, or are there other city buildings that y'all plan to make improvements to?
Well, I was told we have, 200 buildings, or where's our facilities person? 200 buildings. I didn't realize the city had so many buildings. So this is going to be a citywide assessment. We're going to look at all our facilities. There will be a focus on the police station, existing police station, but also this city hall. The city hall's kind of dated. We need to do some things differently. So we'll be looking at this extensively, but indeed, all of our buildings.
And what work is there any specific work that City Hall needs?
We don't know. You know, it's beginning to be a little cramped to us. You know, our council chambers is beginning to get full, so we're going to look and see what we can do to create some more space. here and to look at where we can do some things differently.
And maybe one more question? We all good? Okay, go ahead.
Just regarding the Riverfront Park extension, I guess it lists 4 storefronts and, some amenities. Is that also, to be determined or?
So if you go to BeaumontBonds.com, thank you, sorry, I'm not as tall as everyone else here. What's really exciting is BeaumontBonds.com actually has all of the presentations that the bond committee was able to witness. In that, and obviously as you keep paying attention to the news, on City of Beaumont website is also going to have the renderings of what would be included for Riverfront Park Extension. And of course, the entire point is for connectivity. We have an incredible Riverfront Park set to open April 21st at 5:30. And I would, August, I'm sorry, April. Guys, April, it's been a long night. No, August 21st at 5:30. So I would encourage everyone to be able to attend. And if you're not able to, go out and see how incredible the renovations really are. And then just imagine having more for kids to be able to do that will connect to the future site of the Hotel Convention Center. And honestly, it's really going to be an incredible plan. And so I would just ask for the citizens to give us time to get that information out there so that you could see the full scope of the project before making your decisions.
Tracy, could I do a little executive privilege and offer each council member an opportunity to have some words?
You got
For
your
those
guess in?
those who want to.
Councilman Hilliard?
Well, I just would like to say this is an incredible opportunity. You know, everybody wants to talk about change, but now it's time to put your money where your mouth is. And so, you know, this is an incredible time. It's a chance to make our city better, to show that we care, and that this is an amazing place to live. And, you know, I believe it's $14.25. I mean, that's the price of a pack of gum and a Coke. So, you know, let's make this better. Let's come together as one village, like we did all talk on the campaign. That, you know, we're coming together as a council, and so now it's time for the citizens to come together and rally with the city and say, hey, we're ready to grow, we're ready to make this a better place, and we're ready to make it a place that our kids want to stay and our grandkids want to stay, and a place that we can truly be proud of. So, thank you.
Yeah, I think that, you know, it's been a process working through this and kind of going over the different projects, but I think that we landed on a good mix of different types of projects that have support from every different corner of the city. And yeah, it's a way for citizens to tell us in another way the direction they want the city to go. And so whenever you haven't done something in 43 years, you're kind of working from scratch. And, you know, so maybe it's not perfect, but it's what we worked on and what the committee worked on. And, you know, I'm proud to be a part of it. And I look forward to hearing what the citizens' feedback is on it.
When I look across the state of Texas and I see cities thriving, like Waco, that's growing in population every 10 years, you look at the statistical data and it shows that they do these bonds every 3 to 5 years. To say that we want to compete with like-sized cities and we're not willing to do the things that they're willing to do, that's just talk. We're at a point as a council, as a community, we got to be about actions. We can't just talk. And it's no I in team. It takes the majority of council to make any decisions. And if the majority of council works together and we make decisions, we can make this community what it really truly needs to be. We've been talking about projects in the city of Beaumont for over 30 years. And what I'm proud to say on today is, not only are we willing to extend on what we've been talking about, but we're trying to take it to the next level so our kids can enjoy this city. Our grandkids can have a reason to come back to this city. We talk about youth engagement. We brought up Alice Keefe Multipurpose Center today. But we didn't talk about the fact that we as council members worked with our state rep, Christian Mannion. We secured $2 million to go with this project. So not only are we utilizing money that can possibly impact the tax base, but we're going out and getting money to go with it. So it's important that we talk about all these things, and we can't say we're about our youth if we're not investing in our youth. As a citizen stated earlier, we have several prisons on 69. There's no way in the world we should have more prisons than facilities for our kids to actually play it and enjoy themselves. And I've been an advocate for kids. I've been pro-public safety. I've been pro-improving this city, and it's time to actually put our actions where our words are. And I think that's the point in the statement we made today, and I'm looking forward to exploring this opportunity with our citizens to explain how this goes. I'm willing to show up and speak anywhere or have dialogue on why I support what we've done today. And thank you for everybody who stood by our side, who worked with us through the process, and we understand it may be some people who may not like it. But our job as city council members are to represent the majority of the entire community, and that's what I'll continue to do as an at-large council member.
Today in Beaumont, it was monumental what we were able to accomplish together as a group. The hard work that went into this project and getting these propositions together to put before the people means a great deal to the community. So it's very important that we get the participation from the community when it's time to vote on these propositions, so that way we have clear direction in what the citizens want for Beaumont. So it's not just about us creating these propositions, it's about people showing up and participating and having their say. And the only way that we can do that is by encouraging you to show up. So for me, before coming to council, I've always been about citizen involvement and participation. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you're thinking. We want to know what's going on and how we can facilitate those things. I'm happy to be a part of this team that is working diligently to progress Beaumont in a positive way, and not just in a punitive way in dealing with our youth and our crime, but also in creating hope and giving them something to look forward to, and supporting and undergirding our first responders, and making sure that we're worried about infrastructure and sewage and drainage and streets and sidewalks. And I think that what we showed in these propositions is that we're willing to get outside of the box and sometimes have some difficult conversations, right? Threading that needle is not always nice, but if we work together, then we can definitely accomplish a lot. And I'm very proud of the product that we're putting forward for the citizens. What I would encourage you to do is show up, be a part of the process. I say vote every election, every time. You only have two powers, who you elect and where you spend your dollars. And right now we're talking about both. So make sure that you show up. Thank you.
All right, with that, I'll just say over the next few days, weeks, and of course, we have about just over 2 months to until November 4th. So we want to get as much information out to the citizens as possible. And we'll be getting some graphics out. We'll be telling you stories about each one of these 5 propositions. We want the citizens to understand exactly what they're going to the polls for. So let us help you do that. Again, BeaumontBonds.com as well as BeaumontTexas.gov/bond. And thank you all for coming. Have a safe night.